Hello and welcome back, everybody. Episode 18 of Rekindling the Flame, Dark Souls 3 on PC. Let's see who we can get to join us in this little adventure. Hello? Oh yeah. No. Oh, unable to summon. That's the one we're already summoning, I think. And hopefully it'll let us summon two. Sometimes after summoning one, there just are no more summon signs that pop up, or friendly summons rather. Just the hostile summon signs, or potentially hostile summon signs. But I would love to tackle this place with two summons. In case one dies, you still have a friend. But if it's not going to give me any, then I guess we'll roll. See, this happens a lot. This happens a lot, and I'm not sure when. I'm not sure what the conditions are for it, but every now and then, well, not every now and then, sorry. At least over half the time I do it, this happens. Only hostile summon signs will show up after summoning somebody. Hey. What are you doing, buddy? Let's go. Uh-oh, he's unresponsive. Invaded by... See? And that happens all the time, too. As soon as you summon one person for help. Invasion. 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 Is he coming? You know, we might banish this guy if he's going to be that slow and just constantly stop moving. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's doing something in the real worlds. Maybe he's got kids or something. Who knows? But we do need a player who can play. 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 Fire. Dogs hate fire. At least these ones do. Oh, come on. I had my shield up. That was lame. Alright. Be weary of ambush. I was not weary of ambush and I got ambushed. What can I say? Let's see if we can go this way. Blue Spirit Mongrel. Cool. Cool beans. Oh shoot. I thought he was dead, darn it. Busting stuff up. There he is. Wow, 4 hits? Jeez. I barely walked out of range. I just barely stepped out of that dude's range. I think this guy's a caster right here. Possibly. Oh shoot. Uh-oh. Is the invader over there? What else caused them both to die simultaneously? Yep, the invader. Oh, he's got me. He's got me. Yep, if you get hit once, you get hit twice. Nope. PvP is still garbage as usual. Especially with the S-Stock. That thing is broken. I also just realized something. There was a reason I didn't parry him. I was hitting the parry button, but it was just doing this. This shield can't parry. I wonder if I would have gotten the parry, because someone said just try to parry them on the third hit. After they hit you twice, you can get off the parry. But it doesn't work with a shield that can't parry, obviously. I mean, the shield's okay, but I really, really want a 100% physical block shield. See, I can't even use that one either. A dex requirement, huh? Should I go with a great shield? Nah. But the crest shield might be nice, or the dragon crest shield. Excuse me, what's this? Oh. Is that red, though? I can't even tell. Touch summon sign. I would touch the summon sign if you'd let me. Alright. Yeah, so much time can be wasted in these games trying to get summons to work. Okay. It appears that all summons are now broken because I can't summon anybody. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this summoning system can be super finicky. I think this summon right here is stuck or something. Oh, there it goes. Now it's disappearing. I love the way all that stuff breaks. So, today's drink of choice is coffee, hot, black. With nothing in it. Go, 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 grab it. Snag it. Ah, so disappointed I am. What I'm thinking we'll talk about today, if we have enough time and if we don't get too distracted, is the realities of gaming on the PC. One of the biggest issues I have with the PC gaming community, which I'm a part of, is that we can come out a bit strong at times, but I think it is important to dispel myths and rumors, and particularly those things that used to be true that are no longer true. Those are the worst ones because, you know, people are still around who remember things that used to be true, and so they think it's still true today. For example, here's an example that applies to console gaming. There used to be a time when you could buy a console. That was pretty much it. It might have some accessories or whatnot, but for the most part, they were completely unnecessary. But you'd buy your console, you'd put the game in, and the game would launch, and that's it. It's that simple. And most games had very few bugs or glitches, if any. They didn't change over time, and you got what you got. It was very simple. It was very easy. It rarely ever messed up unless there was some sort of hardware failure. Well, we're finding out today that that's becoming less and less true. In fact, we're at the point now where that's absolutely not true. When is the last time you put a game into a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One and you could immediately play it? You just bought it, you popped it in, you could immediately play it, including multiplayer and everything. Seriously, like, either it has to install something, or it has to download an update, or it has to do both. Now, consoles are doing more than ever before. That's awesome. But at the same time, while consoles are doing more than ever, they're also having more issues than ever. So you pay $400 for the console, or $350 or whatever if you got it on sale. And then you pop your game in and, oh, we need to download an update. Okay, so you download the update. The update's like freaking 7 gigabytes. You're like, geez, that's like the size of the whole game. So you download the update, right? It takes forever. Let's say it's on a PS4. It takes forever because for some reason the consoles are super slow at downloading. Ridiculously slow at downloading for some reason. Then you get it downloaded. You're like, okay, here we go, here we go. And guess what? Nope. Now it needs to install something to the hard drive or some other thing like that. So you wait for that. That takes a little while. And then you can get going. So you're like, cool. So you start playing and all that jazz and whatnot. And all of a sudden, in the middle of playing, your console locks up. You're like, what the heck? So that becomes an issue. This is the kind of stuff that's happening now. Now, granted, you've got access to more than you ever had before. Like, for example, you'll be able to watch movies on Netflix, browse the internet, although with a very, very bad browser with terrible controls. You could play music through things like Spotify or Pandora. You could even save and view your photos, although, you know, I don't know why you'd want to do that on a console. You can watch videos. You could download games, all that jazz. But like I said, they're coming with more of the same problems. And now we're even finding that Sony has announced, or hasn't officially announced, but we've now got I thought I was walking against something. We've now got the PS4 Neo that's going to come out, which is a new hardware refresh. It's not an entirely brand new console. Like, say, it's not a PS5. It's like a midlife improvement in terms of the hardware. So you'll have to buy a new version of the PS4, but it's more powerful. Now, all games are supposed to be compatible with both, but still, what it means is that for developers, it's now less convenient than it used to be, because developers used to be able to program for just one console. Essentially, a PlayStation 4 was a PlayStation 4 was the PlayStation 4. Now you're going to have the PlayStation 4 Neo, in the regular base PlayStation 4. And Sony has hinted at the or has hinted at that they may be doing iterative console refreshes over time. So instead of simply, making a PlayStation 5, they may just make an update to the PlayStation 4 Neo and have another PlayStation 4 hardware refresh. Where's that guy going? Well, let's find out. And in that way, it might get to the point now where you will have to start reading minimum requirements on console games. Oh, come on now. I don't remember that guy being there. So before you buy your PlayStation 4 game, you might actually have to turn it over if you've still got a hard copy that you buy and read minimum system requirements. And it may say that you need the PlayStation 4 X1 or something, or the PlayStation 4 X3, or, it may get to that point because there is no way that developers can continuously make well done, my friend, well done. I'm going to go back and use the souls that I have because we've got a ton of souls. There's no way that Sony can ask developers to make all of their games compatible with several generations of hardware. That's just not a reasonable request. Because at that point, it just, you really can't do it. If you got hardware that's being refreshed time and time again, oh shoot. I don't see why that happens. I don't really feel like that matched the way it's supposed to work when you step forward, but whatever. Like I said, platforming in these games has always been absolutely hideous. I don't know why they still do it. It's a terrible idea. It doesn't have the accuracy that you need to accomplish it properly, so they really shouldn't be putting platforming in these games at all. It's a bad idea. Jumping is really off and just awkward. Either fix it and make it work properly, which they're not going to do, or just don't include it is really the solution there. But eventually it's going to get to the point where if they do iterative hardware refreshes like that, you'll have to buy a whole new version of the console and look at probably system requirements. But even beyond that, there are all sorts of issues we're having right now with, oh my gosh, that is so slow switching back to the Shield. Even now we're seeing that the consoles are coming up with these unique issues. For example, you may find that your consoles are hard locking or accidentally deleting your save files, or you may get some stuttering issue with the latest update and you have to download a new system update. And this is stuff that, let's be honest, if we're getting into that PC versus console mindset, which I don't care to do that nonsense, but if we're going to be in that mindset, then really you have to look at what people used to complain about as a barometer. Wow. I don't know. Wow. Get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here with that nonsense, cheaters. Wow. Just wow. FromSoft. Jeez. The speed at which these things can move. Guaranteed to get you before you can get them. There we go. Yeah, this place here isn't too terrible, but again, it's just kind of tedious to push through, especially if you die to it once. Because you really don't feel like pushing through it a second time once you push through it again. Once you push through it the first time, it just feels like a chore at that point. Is that guy still back there? No, okay. That's probably the guy that fouled me out. Oh, that guy's coming for me. He's coming for me. So, in the past, you used to see console players going, well, haha, we don't have to update our consoles. We don't have to download all these updates and patches and drivers and do all this nonsense. We can just put in our games and play. Well, those people are still around, and a lot of them are still playing consoles. So my question to them is, okay, so are you willing to admit now that the consoles have gone the same direction that the PC is now, and that's a negative? Of course they won't. If you're into the PC versus console, it's a war. They're just trying to win. It doesn't matter what's true or not. But in that regard, yes, consoles have become more like PCs. Both in terms of you can do a little bit more. Not everything a PC can do, but also you have more of the issues that PCs have. The troublesome issues. And even more interesting beyond that is the fact that, let me see if I can get this guy to fall. Darn it, he didn't fall. There we go. Okay. Gotta be careful. But even beyond that, you also have to consider that the consoles have limitations that the PCs don't. Each console is essentially a wow. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. Oh, this is tedious. This is so tedious. This is a tedious chore at this point. Oh gosh, this is tedious. Okay, anyway, back to our discussion. So, whoops, wrong way. So now you've got the consoles having a lot of the issues that PCs have, having a lot of the troublesome issues that have always been an issue with PC gaming, but they're not as free and open as PCs are. In fact, they're locked down. They're what's known as a walled garden. You cannot install your own operating system on your Xbox One or your PlayStation 4. Even when PS3 promised, or even when Sony promised you could put Linux on the PS3, they backed out of that, and they took that functionality away. So, you know, they even backed away from that claim because I guess they realized it was a bad idea in terms of, you know, piracy. And the issues with the walled garden that you'll have is that you can only do what they say you can do, pretty much. That's how the walled garden works. You can only play the games that they approve of, that they allow on their service, on their platform, and you can only use the platform for the things that they've approved of. So, for example, if you've got someone out there that made this really cool indie title, but he can't get it approved, then it won't be on there. You won't be able to play it. That's just how that works. Whereas with the PC, you know, if they can't get a game to be approved by, say, Steam or someone like that, then they can just put it on a website. They can offer it for download through a BitTorrent or something of that sort. You know, that allows for a lot more variety in the gaming. You don't have to worry about the sensors. Wow, that does an excessive amount of damage. Wow. This is a chore. Having to just slog through here bit by bit with this giant mash with just this giant stacked up what am I trying to say? I can't even think of what I'm trying to say here. Seriously, dude, you already did that once. Don't spam. What the heck? Why is he still moving? Oh, he's just a corpse, moving corpse. Man, these I'm telling you, they're all about spamming their moves. Like, they'll do the same thing over and over and over. Okay, I had my shield up. Apparently you guys like to cheat. Yeah, the shield block appears to have a very, very narrow range because I'm constantly getting hit with my shield up, which isn't cool. There we go. We'll take care of this guy too. And dodge that guy. Bet you guys thought I was going to get caught again, didn't you? Actually, I remembered that at the last possible second and dodged. So, that's nice. Someone died on the ladder. Given that it's a walled garden and has all these limitations and is adopting or taking on some of the problems that have always plagued PC gaming, are you kidding me? Oh, they're not kidding me. FromSoft, oh gosh. Aha, how do you like them apples? The question becomes, well, aren't consoles basically just PCs that have tons of limitations and are just extremely walled off gardens? And the answer is, well, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So the question becomes, of course, why would you buy a console? Obviously, there's a very good reason to buy a console. Well, there are two very good reasons. Number one is that consoles, because they have the backing... Hang on. Is there something over there? Oh, shoot. Oh, that would have been just a jump back to where I was. Consoles have the backing of these big companies behind them. Nintendo will back their Wii U. Well, they didn't do so good a job, but Sony will back the PlayStation platform. Microsoft will back the Xbox platform. So you've got these big companies that do have money that can invest money into releasing the hardware cheaper than they really normally could, maybe even take a loss in order to sell games. And they can invest in trying to basically pay companies to make exclusives for their product. Whereas on the PC, well, you really don't have that. Oh, wait, I didn't want to drop down here. Why did I drop down here? I got to go back up. With the PC, you've got companies like Valve that runs Steam. You have Windows that's run by Microsoft. But none of these companies have a particular interest in paying for an exclusive to go on the PC platform because they don't necessarily really benefit much from it. They're not selling the PC platform. And even if they do sell the PCs, they're not exclusive. So the issue you run into is, well, since there are no big companies to pay other developers and publishers to release exclusives, then you don't have as many exclusives. And it is what it is. That's just the way it goes. Why is this here? Does this lead to something? Let me follow it down and see if it does. Maybe some items somewhere? Or is it just a pathway back? And I'm just going to have to go all the way back where I came from. Oh, it takes you this way. Okay. So, still, in general, I think consoles are probably simpler, easier to use than PCs for most people. Once you know how to use a PC, obviously, for gaming and whatnot, then personally, I think the consoles are so restricted that I find PC easier. I can download all the software I want. I can have third-party recording applications, so you don't have to put up with, the built-in PlayStation 4 disabling recording for certain sections of games and other nonsense like that. You can kind of do what you want. If you don't like screen tearing and the game has screen tearing, guess what? You can force vertical sync if it doesn't have an option to do that. Most games will have an option for vertical sync. If you feel like the game isn't running fast enough, you can kind of tweak it, lower the settings, try to see if there are any other things you can edit the config files to make it look better, to make it run better, to give it other features. You can do a lot with it. You can change games to look closer to what you think would be good for you instead of what the developer thought you should have. Because normally, when you buy a game, pretty much every single console game comes out in one form, essentially, unless there's like a remake later on. And whatever graphical settings the game is set at, that's what you get. If they have it performing really poorly, sorry, that's it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to change it, pretty much. If it performs really well but doesn't look so good, again, there's nothing you can do. Screen tearing, nothing you can do. If it has some terrible thing on it that you don't like some weird filter, like a chromatic aberration or something like that. I don't know of any console games that have it, but maybe some do. You can get rid of it. You can turn it off. Usually you can turn it off. So you can kind of customize the experience, which I think is always a neat thing. And who doesn't like to customize their experience? Shut up. Holy crap, lady. Shh. Jeez. There's no reason to scream that loud. Chill out. Enemy ahead. Yeah. Thanks. Alright. Did I explore this whole thing to make sure that that's all there is here? Because every now and then they like to put in the illusory wall inside an illusory wall. Which I think is interesting. Alright. So that's that. And this is this. Okay. So we should be pretty well set to fight the enemies in this little lake area because they are weak to fire. I believe they are. Last I checked they were. Oh, that's a dead one. I like how they put a couple in. Or these things look like the enemy. They either are dead versions. Yeah, I think they're dead versions. So then, of course, it's kind of neat how they actually have a living one in here. And you'll notice that you can't click it. If you click right here like crazy, nothing happens. You can't lock on. So it's truly hidden. But most Souls fans should probably pick up on the fact that if there's something that looks like it could be a living creature, even if you've seen other ones that look like that and are dead, if it's next to an item and you get any sense that it looks suspicious, then yeah, there's probably something going on there. You got to be a bit skeptical. Now, granted, not to get into the PC versus console fanboy wars, but there are advantages and disadvantages to both. However, what I'm saying is that some of the biggest advantages that console fans used to parade around with and kind of put out there, and they were advantages. They were absolutely right when they said it. What, you know, was the convenience factor, was the simplicity, was the ease of use, the basically plug and play, turn on and play, basically put the game in, turn it on and play. Well, like I said, that's mostly gone now. It's not entirely gone, and it's still easier in some ways than PC, but still, when you download a game from Steam, most games download, and when you first launch them, they might take maybe like 30 to 45 seconds just to sort of check that you got, you know, the visual C++ runtime things and all that jazz. But other than that, it's pretty much set. I mean, it just goes, and it's ready to rock and roll. So in that regard, PCs have become so much easier to use, and it's unfortunate that there are so many people out there who remember or who were told about what PCs used to be like and still think that. Because yes, I was a PC gamer back in the day when it was true. You needed to be a bit of a tech head to figure it out. I mean, there were times where you would literally have to edit IRQs on the sound card and manually find and install drivers that it didn't just automatically download from Microsoft Update. You would have to, if you built a computer, you'd have to set little jumpers on the pins, and I mean, there was so much stuff going on. For some games, you would have to install or make use of custom .bat boot disks, and so you'd have to go in there and kind of play around with the settings to try to get enough memory in DOS to make the game work. And then if the sound didn't work, you have to go in there and play around with that. It was true. I mean, that did happen to a certain extent, and it was quite difficult overall. So I couldn't at that time have recommended PC gaming just universally for everybody. It was quite a challenging experience for some games. And then, of course, the PC was constantly changing with different hardware, and so some of the early 3D games, like Tomb Raider and all those, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember those. Basically, you would grab a game, and you'd have to be very careful, because this game might not work with your particular graphics card, or this game might not work unless you have a particular piece of hardware. You know, maybe you need a Voodoo graphics card, or you need this kind of thing, and oh, it works with this Sound Blaster and this Sound Blaster, but not with this Roland sound card. Yeah, it was complicated. It was pretty complicated. There was a lot to figure out. But it's not that way anymore. I can pretty much say that other than those older games, if you try to go back and play them, which you usually would use like a DOS emulator or something, it's pretty much streamlined now. It's very much been streamlined. It's a pretty simple experience for the most part. Like I said, you know, you can jump on Steam, download a game, and boom, it's ready. And that's pretty much, that's it. I mean, it doesn't really require much effort. You don't really need to know a lot. A lot of people say, I don't want to have to worry about constantly checking the minimum system requirements. I don't ever look at minimum system requirements for a game, ever. Jeez. There was a little delay on that grab. I hate those little delays they put in. I've complained about those before, so I won't repeat that. But I feel like that delay is kind of cheap and just seems like a fake video game tactic more than anything else. Yeah, see, it kind of lingers there for about 500, for about a half. See, I see that how it lingers like that for just a little bit. It's intended to catch you because you're gonna dodge at a reasonable time when you expect it to attack, but it doesn't attack then. It waits about a half second and then attacks, so it catches you. I just don't like that. I think that's kind of cheap. It just screams video game To me, it screams artificial video game difficulty when something like that happens. I'm surprised that one didn't even get up. Interesting. You don't deserve this. If only I had a chance. Now, I'm trying to remember if there's something in here I missed before. Maybe an illusory wall or something. I thought I had to come back here one time to find something I didn't even notice. Thank goodness you can stagger them. If you can stagger an enemy out of their attacks, you can do you can basically just spam them. All you have to do is make sure you've got enough stamina for it. I don't always do it, but it's a good idea to maintain enough stamina for one roll, at least one roll. This is where Sigurd would be if you were following his quest line, which I'm too lazy to do. That's why this room seems almost pointless otherwise. But yeah, Sigurd would be in here, if I'm not mistaken. Counterattack required ahead. Okay. Shields up, people. Aha. Now, if you look up there, what do you see? You see a silver knight waiting to shoot us. Depending on how you approach this area, that will be the first time you catch a glimpse of a silver knight in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this can be one of the first times you catch them if you come up through this way. If I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I may regret having done that, but there's no going back now. Take that, sucker. Oh, with fire, you can stagger them quite a bit more than you could without it. Last time I came here, I did have I had a longsword, very similar to this one. I had the standard regular longsword, but it had no enchantment on it, and I had a much harder time staggering those silver knights. This guy will shoot you rather quickly, so you got to be careful. Nice. I love how it's growing into here. It kind of... Oh, wow. Frostbitten from that. Interesting. So, yeah, it does kind of show that this place has been left to sort of be overrun with the wild. Left to its own devices. Pointless. Yeah, I tested that for an illusory wall too. Even without a message there, I would test that for an illusory wall. I'll test that too, but I'm like 99% sure there's no illusory wall right there. So, when people ask me, am I a PC gamer or am I a console gamer? Well, I would definitely go with PC first. That should be very clear from my channel, from where I pick my games, what platform I pick to play my games on usually. But at the same time, I am absolutely no stranger to the consoles. Whoa, shoot, what's shooting at me? Oh, Invisidude. I like his homing soul arrow. Do we get homing soul arrows? You know me. I'm like, come on now. You give these enemies this extreme advantage. Oh, really now, FromSoft? You're gonna put another one start shooting. Only thing that would make this better is if they had even one more after that shooting it. Oh, wow. I had just enough stamina to dodge once. The nice thing about this sword is, if you can stagger something, it might give you just enough time to gain enough stamina to dodge once. Whoa, boy. Woo! I can just barely dodge both here. Holy crikey. Let's S this up a bit. Run! Oh, this guy's closer than I thought. Nope. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Oh boy, that was fun. See, that challenge is it's a little bit tedious, but it's not overwhelming because they don't do an excessive amount of damage. It doesn't severely stagger you or anything like that. It's not my favorite part, but it wasn't too bad. And at least it gives you the opportunity to realize what's going on, and you probably won't take so much damage that you die. Oh, shoot. I remember those enemies. I want nothing to do with them. And just as a quick test, I'm going to make sure that nothing else comes up here. No. Okay, well, we'll bring that back. That's a good place to hide stuff. On elevators that go up, people would just assume it goes up and then it comes back down. But sometimes you want to make sure to send it up on its own to see if there isn't like a bottom part to the elevator that comes up and lets you go back down. No illusory wall. Love required ahead. Not going to ask about that. So for me, yeah, I'm definitely a big PC fan. Now, I can tell you this, that I've kind of alternated back and forth a bit. When I was real young, I loved gaming on the PC, but when I was super young, like so little that I could barely play PC games, I mainly played played the video games with my grandpa right there with me to sort of guide me. And one of the first games I played or remembered playing was Microsoft Flight Simulator. And that was fun. It was very primitive at the time, but it was fun. I also played around with this program. It's not really a game. It's called Dr. Sabetso. It's a pretend like psychologist or psychiatrist that you talk to. And he actually talked to you with a voice synthesizer. Back when voice synthesization, back when it was new, a new thing to do that. Yeah, see, I don't want to take a bunch of hits. Oh, there we go. That's what I was trying to get him to come forward. Can't quite one-shot him. See if I can get any to come after me. There we go. Pulling him out. Alright, alright, alright. So if I can sneak under there, I think I'll be safe. But there are 1 or 2 enemies to get under here. Right? There he is. Okay. And then there's the frostbite effect from those thingies, which I think is slower stamina regeneration, right? Actually, I'm not 100% sure what it is. Look at that face. Oh, that's a terrible face. What a horrible looking face. Alright. But when I was that age, because of my age and because of the complexity of PC gaming at the time, I actually found it easier to game on the consoles. So I tended to spend a lot more time, especially when we didn't have a computer at my parents' house. Now, once my parents got a computer, I spent a lot more time on the computer than before, but I still probably spent more gaming time on my Nintendo and Super Nintendo. My brother bought, like, he worked a job and bought a Genesis back before I could work, so I didn't have enough money to do anything on my own. So when he would let me go in his room to play on the Genesis, I would play a few games on there, and mainly, you know, stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog or Streets of Rage or stuff like that. At least that's what I'm remembering. Now I may not be remembering everything correctly because that's been a long time ago, but that's what I recall. I never actually played the TurboGrafx 16. I've only played emulated games. But I did have an Atari Lynx. You can check that one if you guys don't know what that is. I had one of those, and the game I remember most from it was a Ninja Gaiden game. The Atari Lynx was okay, but I think the screen went bad rather quickly. Kind of like the Game Gear. Well, now you know what an Atari Lynx is. Like the Game Gear, the screen can start to go bad. The colors just don't look right, and then it just looks super, super, like, I don't know, weak. Like the screen tends to go weak. Okay, I think it was the fire that actually allowed me to get that stagger off just in time to prevent him from hitting me. Because of how tough these guys are, I'm gonna, oh, and I should two-hand it because I believe we have a better chance of staggering him two-handed. Oh, shoot. See, I didn't get my attack off first. You can see how unreasonable these guys are. And they can do even more than that. Just this one enemy alone can drain you from full health to dead in a single combo. Easily. There we go. What the heck? Oh, come on now. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Come on, FromSoft. Balance this stuff. Balance. Alright. Get this game balanced, FromSoft. If this is the boss, then we do not have enough time because we are pretty much at the 40-minute mark. I might actually Homeward Bone back because there's no way I'm tackling a boss with 75,000 souls on me. It's just not going to happen. It would not be a smart move. And there's nothing back here, just a wide open courtyard. Although I haven't been down here. Oh, this. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't just bail. I'm so glad I didn't just bail. See, that just doesn't do much. I've even got the ring to make it more powerful. See, this is why I'm not preferring pyromancy. I'm either doing something wrong or it's just weak. That one seems to be okay, but the other ones require quite a bit of focus points, and then they just don't seem to be doing a whole lot. In we go. Uh-oh. What am I looking at? Oh, shoot. Wait, where's the bonfire? Is it over here? Because I don't want to deal with these guys if I don't have to. They're too tough for me. Nice try. I knew that wasn't a illusory wall. I don't even know why I tried that. I think... Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Alright guys, thanks for joining me. This one was a bit longer than usual, but not by too much. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any comments, suggestions, all that good stuff, particularly on our topic of PC and console and advantages and disadvantages, you can let me know. Let's not get into any of the PC versus console, because really it's PC or console, or both, really. You can kind of pick whatever you want. Go with what works best for you. I have a bunch of consoles as well, so I try to go both as much as possible without spending too much money. I'm Fox of Foxeo Plays, and I will see you guys next time.